So, good morning, family, and thank you for tuning in to the Better Show on KAZI FM 88.7. And Lisa, yes, I'm going to continue to say I love that.
Yeah, no. 88.7 on your FM dial.
And then you have Kimberly Bradford Brown
and Lisa Martin.
And today is a special day because it's a couple of days after the Valentine's Day, the V-Day, where all of those that are in love show their love that one day a year, right?
That's right.
Well, you know what I'm going to say about that. We need to do better.
That's right.
So,
better. That's right.
We have some very special guests today, and I call them my power couple because that's what they are, but I will let them introduce themselves.
Hi.
Mr. and Mrs.
I am Jasmine Duncan. And
I'm Jarrell Duncan.
They are the Duncan family.
Yes.
The Duncan Dynasty.
The
That's
Duncan
right,
Dynasty.
the Duncan
I love
Dynasty.
it. So this month because of the February being Love Month, we thought we would give you family 2 shows of couples that are doing the doggone thing.
Yeah.
And the Duncans are truly doing the doggone thing. And so we want to have a conversation. All of our shows are geared at helping you become better. So whether you're married or not married, seeking to be married, I'm sure the Duncans will have some wonderful tips. And next week we'll talk to a couple who's been married a little longer. And as Kimberly alluded earlier in conversation, you guys didn't hear it, but same questions, but the questions may be a little more informative and maybe totally different from younger couples to older couples. So we'll dive right in.
Yeah, I have to say this, that these 2 beautiful people gave me the opportunity to work with them for their wedding as their day of event planner.
Nice.
And it was a beautiful affair. It was outstanding, and I can't take any credit for the planning of it because they did an awesome job themselves in doing that, but just to be there and to see how they were able to bring their lives together in that moment was a wonderful opportunity. And so I feel some kind of way about them. I do, and that's why I say they're my power couple. So I'm excited that they're here, and they have a beautiful love story. I just love their love story, but I am going to give them the opportunity to share that with our family here.
I'm excited to hear.
Well, we actually met while working together at Ross. If y'all know that store, Ross Dress for Less.
Yeah.
One of my favorite stores still.
Mine too.
Right. So yeah, I was a supervisor. Jarrell was an assistant manager. I had just started working at Ross. It's like right after I graduated college. It was at the store in Denton, Texas, because I graduated from UNT and I just started working in Denton. So I walked into the store. It was like my first day, and I saw Jarrell. He kind of caught my eye the first glimpse, because he was cute, nice beard, chocolate man. I was like, oh, and usually like the Ross employees, they don't be looking like this. I worked at Ross in many locations, and so he caught my eye, but I'm not like the aggressive type to just go up to a man and be like, I like you, I want you, come on. So just play it cool, and we were just co-workers. I actually ended up moving to a different store. I worked there for a few months, and then eventually came back to the Denton store, and that's when we started to get to know each other and talk. Hung out at some work events and stuff, like outside of work, like Christmas parties and stuff. We had mutual friends, and that's when I caught his eye.
Yeah, it's like the condensed version of it. But yeah, pretty much. I guess with Jasmine and I, the thing was, I mean, I even tell, it's not just the version I tell her parents, it's like the real version of the story, which is that like when we were working together, it was 0% interest, romantic interest, or anything. I mean, not even, you know, and I guess I could be slick, you know, in my past or whatnot, but I didn't make a move, didn't flirt, didn't say anything. And I really, to be honest, I thought she was cool. You know, yeah, she was attractive, she was cute, but there was no kind of chemistry or anything. I just felt, hey, that's just a coworker.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of other stuff going on, and it was in the early days of my business, so I'm kind of half 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So when I come to work, I'm just there to work and go home, you know. So I wasn't really forming relationships or anything. So I think because of that, Jasmine and I didn't have the opportunity to like form any kind of bond, even as a friendship, until the very end, when she was pretty much ready to move on to the company she works for now after getting her degree. And once that happened, then I was like, and we went to a main event.
Oh yeah.
We went to main event and just having fun, like a little Christmas holiday get together with the management team. And and that's when I finally noticed she is pretty cute. If you know, take away if you take away the Ross attire, because that Ross back then and now is different. Back then you had to wear a button-up blue shirt and black slacks and black hard bottom shoes to work. So yeah, not much for the imagination. That's just what it is. So, and Jasmine is not an extra person anyways. So if you make it simple for her and her attire, she is gonna do just that. So yeah, pretty much. So I realized like, oh, who's this girl? You know, wearing Jasmine's glasses and have her ID and everything. But after that, I actually decided to shoot over a quick text message, you know.
Yeah. Once I started my new job, it was like, oh, I'm so glad you quit because shoots his shot.
And I just told her, I'm so glad you quit or you got your new job because I don't date coworkers. Is what I told her, and she was like, oh. She was like, date. Yeah, so that was my way of expressing my interest.
That was your way of asking her out on a date.
Yeah, that was that was before the date. That was simply just my way of letting her know I'm interested.
I'm interested.
So, yeah. So don't get it confused. I do like you. I think you're attractive, and I think there's some kind of chemistry. So yeah, and then the date and everything came after.
So after the dating, how long did it take for you to know that she was the one? How much dating did it take?
It was quick.
We dated for maybe like a month, and then we decided to make it like official. And yeah, I think it was like while we were dating, we had a conversation
about
the long conversation.
No, the long conversation is prior to dating. So yeah, there was just this kind of like courting phase, I would call it, like just a courting phase where like we weren't spending a lot of time together. It would be just, hey, whenever I can see you or my schedule's not too busy, and we just kind of pop in and out. And one night, and we kind of mentioned it like in our vows at our wedding, it was just I had my daughter was at my apartment, and therefore, on the weekend, I'm shut down. I'm in daddy mode. And I remember texting her, and I had have a 4. Well, at that time she was 4. Now she's 8. But I'm like, I have my daughter with me. So when she invited me out for drinks with her friends and everything, I just let her know, sorry, I got daddy duties. I'm in daddy mode. Not going anywhere this weekend. Don't really care to. That's just me when I have my daughter's my personal time. So maybe later. And when she finished, it was 2 a.m. It was like 2 a.m. And she messages me and says, hey, what you doing? And I'm like, on the couch, getting ready to most likely fall asleep, but she was like, hey, you mind if I stop by? And I was just like,
that non-aggressive Jasmine did.
Yeah, non-aggressive.
Like I'm not shooting my shot first.
And even without knowing her, as long as I've known her now, I knew that was like a rare thing. Like, oh, that's okay. That's kind of
because I actually liked you and liked being around you.
Oh, that's sweet. That's
sweet. So she came over and we stayed up all night talking. We didn't. In fact, it ended with me going to get Chick-fil-A breakfast. Like it was till like 8 a.m., 7 a.m. And we never fell asleep. It was just a continuous conversation. And that conversation was the reason I think everything was expedited. That one conversation, we talked about things afterwards, but in that one conversation, we talked about our list that we had and our past relationships and the things we did wrong, our biggest mistakes, some of like interview questions, basically, right?
Our intentions, we already decided we both were dating to marry. So
right, and that was important.
Yeah,
we both said to one another that, hey, I'm not dating just to date. Like I'm trying to build foundation. I'm trying to build something bigger, something deeper. I want to show my daughter like a real example of love and like her grow up in like a loving environment. And that was all important to me. And then she pretty much mirrored the same sentiment. So
I have a whole lot of questions from all of that. I'm trying to keep them all in my head. Okay, number one, Jazz, how impressive was it for you to hear a young guy say, "I'm sorry, I'm in daddy mode, and I'm ready to shut down"? Was that something that was very attractive to you?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I back then, I would always tell myself, oh, I would never date a guy with kids, and then Jarrell comes along and I'm like, I can't pass this up. Then he's like the whole package, So I'm like, that was that one. And then Sophia is an amazing kid anyway, so she made it easy. So
of course, yeah.
The fact that he just loves her so much and tries to get as much time with her as possible, doing the co-parenting thing. Yeah, it was definitely
hats off, Jarrell. Hats off.
Yeah.
Okay, Kimberly, I know you're burning with a question too, but I'm old, so let me ask my question before I forget.
Well, no, you do that because I feel like
I know you. Right I know those are your babies, and you know them. So I'm just now meeting them. But I just out of that whole long conversation. Okay, so you were saying we had the long conversation. So I want to know, were the same? It's not principles, but were the same expectations in this relationship? Did they mirror other relationships? And not that I want to harp on other relationships, but I'm just trying to get, I want the family who's listening to know, to tune into those key things that tell you this is the one. Right. Like were those conversations different with other relationships? And then I don't want to talk about other relationships after this question, but I just want to know to help people discern what's right, how their heart feels when you know it's right and when you know it's wrong. So
right.
So I know for me, even in past relationships, my expectations never changed. Like I wasn't gonna lower my expectations or, make them outrageous, like unattainable. But having been hurt so much in the past and people not meeting those expectations, I think I came into this relationship with Jarrell, just being transparent and letting him know up front, like, this is what I want. You gonna meet me there or not?
I love it.
Basically.
I love it.
Yeah, I know for me, it was, learning from life for me. So I think I took a little bit of this relationship and that relationship. And, I was taught, I was kind of raised to, be smart, when you observe life, because there's a lesson in everything. Like you should be taking something. If it was a horrible experience, then you know exactly what you don't like.
Absolutely.
If it was a great experience, you know, and you have to be honest with yourself, you know, for whatever reason those other relationships didn't work. I was honest with myself in saying, and even in that conversation with her, I would say, well, in this relationship, I did this right, or I feel I did this right, and I feel I did this wrong. She said I did this right. She said I did this wrong. Right, and that was part of the conversation. I mean, that when the last 6 hours of a conversation.
Yeah, we talked about like all our past relationships
in detail.
Wow.
Stuff that went wrong and what we think we could do better, what we want to do better in this relationship, and yeah, it was just all transparency.
And I know for myself, I was just thinking as a guy, like if you're gonna put guys, we're really like, you know, kind of to ourselves as far as emotions and stuff like that. But I felt, what do I have to lose? I think even when we were just friends, I was like, hey, I'm not dating anybody this year. I don't plan on getting in a relationship. I'm just going to kind of focus on like the start of my business and, you know, raising Sophia. And that's good enough for me. Like, I'm not really missing anything. I've been in relationships where times where I felt I was after being in it for a while, I shouldn't have been there. Like this isn't lining up with who I really am. And then you're kind of just lingering around. And I realized that. So I told her all of that stuff. And I was like, you know what, if she doesn't accept it, similar to how she said, if she doesn't accept it, cool, I don't really lose anything. Let me tell you from the beginning everything.
I love it.
Yeah, so you don't just like, you know, dig up or uncover anything. Trust me, you're going to hear everything from me the first time we speak.
And is that something you recommend others to do?
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely. Yes. It sounds, people in our age, I know our friends and stuff, they would say I can't do that. They was, you know, I'm not doing that. I'm not telling all of my business to this person that's basically a stranger. They put people on levels, you know, like, oh, we're in this stage, we're in the talking phase, or we're in the, you know, whatever phase, and they won't just simply open up.
Look, it's not just people your age.
Yeah, I mean, we hear
just
it a lot.
saying.
Like, yeah, people just don't want to open up, but that's the time when you have less to lose. So I don't feel like I was disappointing anyone who I spent so much time with. I thought that I'm just going to tell it to a stranger. It's easier to tell my feelings and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. And one thing that Lisa and I always talk about is being vulnerable. And vulnerability is not a negative thing. I mean, of course, you don't want to go around gushing and spilling the beans to everybody, but it also, vulnerability aids you in setting boundaries. Mm-hmm. And it helps you to, I mean, it's truth telling is what you were doing. And so that is like one of the most genuine and authentic things that you can do in any relationship, especially one progressing towards marriage.
Mm-hmm. And transparency.
Absolutely.
You learn so much in transparency, and transparency is, as Kimberly says, which is very similar to vulnerability, but when you're sharing and being transparent, you're being real. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. And being real, there's always lessons in being real. You know, you take off, like you said, Jarrell, what do you have to lose? Yeah. At that point, what do you have to lose? I mean, so I love it. I think y'all are just too cute. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead, Kimberly.
Is awesome.
Your next question.
It's just kind of building from what they were talking about as far as that starting your relationship off in my mind, a very mature and open way. What do you guys see as the biggest strength of your relationship?
It's definitely the trust, the communication, and transparency. That's something we literally talk about all the time. I think we identify it, the trust, the communication, and the transparency. And that was something, even that day, those words were uttered. You know, so that was the beginning of it, and we've always kind of dealt with things that way. It doesn't matter what the emotion is. We just try to find a quick way to get it out instead of, you know, waiting and saying, oh, it's not the time, or man, I know, you know, it's a little too much anger or a little too much sadness, or it doesn't really matter. We just simply get it out as fast as possible. As soon as you're able to compose yourself to fully convey the message or convey what that emotion is. So being fast to the trust, the communication, and transparency for sure.
I love that. I love that.
So do y'all have disagreements?
I mean, yes, we do.
Yeah, like every other day, they're just so small.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's just not that big of a deal. And I'd rather, kind of pick your battles or whatnot.
Right.
But
we agree to disagree or compromise on the situation because it's minuscule compared to the years we have to spend together and all the growing we're going to do together. Like, we'll have bigger problems in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure. So we'll just save it.
Gotcha.
I love it. What's something that you guys do for each other that kind of confirms your love for one another? Like, are there any special, what do you do to just confirm each other? What does it look like?
What does it look like? I know for me, what Jasmine does to confirm my love for her is she continuously, I know I'm always bringing something to her, like an idea or something going on. My mind's always moving. I'm always thinking of stuff really fast. She is always patient. She is always patient. Like, I've never seen her like react the way I react, and I try to like learn from her, and I think she's rubbing off on me, but she is just naturally way more patient. So I literally like I look up to her in that way as far as like just patience, because then I go like, oh man, I really can adapt that more, because it's good for personal, business, my relationship with my daughter, my mom, her mom, her sister. Like, it works for every relationship in my life. So I learned that from her, and it's just like, it's continuous, and I go, that's why I married her, or okay, that's why we're together. Like, it just confirms, it's helping me confirm.
I love it. I love it. That is awesome. I love it. And what is he doing for you?
One thing that I love that he does is he cooks for me.
Nice.
And I don't know how I got blessed with a man that loves to cook, especially when I do not like to cook. I prefer not to cook. And Joe he actually enjoys cooking. So, and he just does it out the love of his heart. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so blessed.
Most of the time.
But Jerome, he's just very giving, and he's always showing his love and appreciation for me, and I just feel so lucky.
Oh, that is so sweet. Okay, you got a man who lights up when he talks about his mom. He lights up when he talks about his daughter, and he cooks. Girl,
that's what I'm
saying.
Check and
check.
Right.
You are blessed. You are blessed. That's awesome. I love it. I mean, and you guys are lighting. I mean, our family can't see the grins on their face, but I know that you can hear it in their heart that they are just a lovely, lovely couple.
Thank you, family. You are listening to KAZI 88.7. This is The Better Show with Kimberly Bradford Brown
and Lisa Martin, and we are with the Duncans.
Yes,
we've learned a lot.
Jasmine and Jarrell Duncan.
Yes.
Hey.
And they are our power couple for today. We are talking about love notes.
Yes, love notes. And we've learned a lot from them. They are just a wonderful couple that's sharing some insight on marriage and love and relationships and things that we hope that you're finding valuable in maybe your life, things that you can take from them. Not all relationships are the same and people are different, but they've got a wonderful story that some of the things that they're doing in their relationship just may be a blessing to your relationship. So this is awesome.
Right. And we do want to not tell all their business, but they have been married for under 5 years. And in my mind, I understand longevity has its place, but when people love each other and, you know, are in what you may call a soulmate type of situation where you know that you are equally yoked, and you are with someone that you're not just in the same book, but on the same page, in the same paragraph, same sentence, that matters. And so we are seeing a young example of that. And it's just so wonderful and refreshing. And to know that that kind of love exists is a beautiful thing.
And one thing, just let me point out, Kimberly, that right before the break that Jazz said that really, really caught my attention is she said, you know, we talk about how we're going to live this life out together and how long we're going to be together. And we just, all our problems are minuscule compared to the thoughts that we have for being with each other long term. And so to me, that said to me that they have purposed in their hearts and in their marriages and with one another.
That's right.
That we're in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
And that, just saying those words, and I know we hear that at wedding vows.
Speaks volumes.
We hear that at wedding vows, and then 10 years later, the couples are gone. So you really didn't mean what you said when you said, for better or for worse, through rich, your God to be my God, for richer, in sickness and in health. Some people just bounce. But you guys sound like you took those marriage vows just by what you just said, Jazz. And I think it's beautiful. A friend of mine, and I'm not going to take up a lot of time, Kimberly, because, you know, I can talk, but a friend of mine said, I cry at weddings. And I'm like, why are you crying at weddings? She said, because I know the path that they have to go on and what lies ahead. And so she says, my heart is just overwhelmed, and I'm praying for them to, y'all, stick together. You can make it. You can do it. You can. And I thought about that. I was like, wow, you know, you should be rejoicing at funerals, but literally crying at weddings because you know what path people are about to embark upon. Because marriage is hard.
Yeah,
it's not for the faint of heart. But I love the fact, and I applaud you guys that you guys have made it a commitment, and just by the words that you just said was so powerful. So congratulations.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I had to get that out. I love love. I love marriage. I did, but that's a whole nother chapter, right, Kimberly? We'll talk about that later.
Look, I'm not bitter. I'm getting better. and the thing about it is, I do. Marriage is awesome. It's something that is ordained by God, and he wants us to be happy and be each other's help meet in that. And not a lot of people get it wrong. It's not help mate, it's help meet. And
that's
when you meet, it's just that. Okay, I won't preach a sermon today because that's not my calling. But you know, kind of piggybacking from what Lisa was saying, as far as having the thought of wanting your marriage to last forever, and that being at the forefront of your mind and everything that you do. How do you see your thoughts in a marriage relationship differing from the time that before you all got married, or before you even got in a relationship, to where you are now?
So before we got married, I always had this idea of relationships being 50-50, you know, everything split right down the middle, whether that's, you know, finances or emotions or, you know, just the whole relationship. But then us now being like a year into our marriage, you realize that, you know, some days I'm not going to be that 50%. Some days I'm probably going to be that 20%. And then Jerome's going to have to pick up the slack and be that 80%. And he does that. We really balance each other out a lot. And then whenever he's down, you know, I'm right there to pick up the slack. And I don't know.
Every
it
time.
Works for us.
Yeah, that was a misconception. I thought that was like the fair thing. I thought that was like the only way to have like a fair marriage, like, you know, like the ideal marriage would be like this 50-50 thing, but it almost never pans out that way. But it is you know, 50-50 as far as like your heart being in it. Like, you know, I know she's gonna meet me every single time. If anything, more than 50 as far as like her effort and her belief. Like, I know that, you know, her principles, all that other stuff is always gonna be in alignment with mine. So her effort, she's always gonna give effort even when she doesn't have it. That's just a Jasmine thing. So so it just makes me want it. So I guess it's kind of, maybe it's like a light competition. I don't know what it is, but I know that when she does that, it inspires me to know that I can't slack. I can't, you know, be behind, because she deserves this. And that's the way I kind of phrase it. I know when I'm talking to like my friends or talking to somebody that's outside of my house, it's, you know, she deserves this or she deserves that. And it's all coming from that effort that I feel, that energy I feel from her every day.
I love that. I love that. I love the fact that it's understood that, babe, look, when I can't get my 50 and my, you know, and I'm only 30, you got that 70, right? And he says, and he says, I got the rest, because some relationships I've heard and seen, you know, no, you ain't pulling your weight, no, you meet me 50-50, no, I got my, you know, and so that they've been listening too much to the pentagram. Therein ensues an issue already, because they'll leave you, you know, some people leave you high and dry. No, she didn't make it, you know, whatever. So I love the fact that it's understood and y'all are willing to weigh it out and give and take. I love that. I love it. Absolutely. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's just knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses is kind of where it plays in, because typically I'll know what areas she doesn't have the 50. And that's the other thing too. I think kind of just being connected, or I think, like you said before about like the soulmate, like that soul tie or the soulmate. Like you just know. I don't know how I know. I just know. You know, I can't really like break it down to a science. I just know she doesn't have this to give, and I can know first 10 minutes of being awake. I can just tell that's not where she is, and she might change it, and I'm open for that too. She might, the first couple hours of the day might be one way, and then the next few hours of the next, and if we change environment, then it changes again. And you just got to be like always willing to adjust. Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's because it sounds like you pay attention.
Yeah.
You pay attention. You care enough to pay attention. And same with you, Jazz. You care enough about him to pay attention. And that's what helps you to stay tuned in.
Right.
Yeah. That's
and you can hear the magnitude of you are important to me.
Right.
Just in the conversation. And in a marriage, I mean, that's huge. Your person has to be important to you, and you have to be, you know, there just has to be that mutual bond and connection of importance, because we pay attention to what's important to us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true.
Yep, I love it.
What would you guys say is your favorite thing about being married?
I think one thing we were right about is just, hey, I know early in the time that we were dating, like when we first started dating, I was like, oh, I can't wait till we've been together for like 3, 4, 5 years or whatever. I was like, oh, it's gonna be like just so insane, because I can feel it. I knew what it could be early. And that's the reason we were so like giving and willing to share and vulnerable and everything and transparent. But I was telling her that like, oh, I can't wait till we've been together like 4 or 5 years. It's gonna be like so easy. And that's exactly what happened. So I think like just it actually played out that way. So now being married, or I think in this time we've been together 4 or 5 years total. And so that it actually playing out the way we kind of set it up to be, I guess, or whatever.
I just like having a person I can depend on and rely on. all the time. Like, if I know if I need one person to answer my phone call or I get shot in the head, I know Jarrell's gonna pick up. I don't know, but that's just what comes to my mind. Like, cause I don't want to say I don't like change, but you know, I like stuff to be constant and kind of, I don't know, what do you call it?
Just balance, consistency.
Yeah, consistency. Yeah, I like having consistency in my life, and even though this person may change over the years, at least it's this one person, and a person that I actually care about and love and willing to go through all that with. So
That's awesome.
I love it.
That's awesome. Any words of wisdom to newlyweds or people looking to get married, or any, people that are new in the marriage? Any words of wisdom that each of you can give to our listeners?
Yeah, I would say always be willing to change. And I think that was a big part. Though I always joke with Jasmine about, her just being the same or whatever. She's changed like so much, and she's always willing to change. I can throw out ideas about places we should go, new things we should do. Let's try new hobbies. Let's try this, try new food. She never says just absolutely no. Like, I don't like this. I don't do this. That's not me. Stuff like that. It's like she's down. She's always like I'm with you. And I know better than to like really push her and ask her to go too far. But even sometimes where I'm like, I wonder if this is too far, I'll say, hey, you think this is too far? That's a communication part. But I would say, other than I think everything else that we've spoken about, I would say just be willing to change, because people always talk about being consistent, or like she mentioned, somebody that's always going to be there and a constant. But for me, it's the fact that I know if I go, hey, we need to, even if it's like a major adjustment, we're not our walk with Christ isn't what it should be, so how about let's buckle down and let's really get, because that's a drastic change if you're not, living that way. And if you decide, okay, well, we're going to do this right today, or we're going to eat right today, we're going to throw our entire fridge out, let's just get rid of it. And she's down for any drastic change or any small change. So always be willing to change, And I feel that's why I can't, as a guy, I'm like, I couldn't get tired of her. Like guys always, for whatever reason, they get to wondering and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like Jasmine changes so much. It's like a new person every 6 months. So you can't get tired of her. She's just like, she's the same Jasmine, but it's like a different
version.
Different version.
Different version.
Jasmine 1.0, 2.0, 3.0.
Right. I think we're on like 18 by
always improving.
It's that Jasmine you saw in the blue shirt and the black pants with the big shoes, and then it was that she went over to it's like, you got Jasmine's tag on. Hold on.
The same thing. Same type of change.
That kind of change, huh?
That's right.
Jasmine, what would be your words of wisdom to someone?
I would say never stop dating your partner. Never stop flirting. Like, keep the romance going, keep the attraction going. Don't get like too comfortable and like think, oh, they're not going nowhere. I mean, yes, that might be true, but like your partner still wants to be wanted, and they still want to look at you and want you and have that desire for you. And yeah, I think that's important. Keep it going all throughout the years. Like, don't stop. Don't get tired.
I love it. That's a great answer, because so many people think that he ain't going nowhere. Oh, he ain't going nowhere. You have to keep moving. We always say on this show, glory to glory to glory to glory. You have to keep going. You're always becoming. You're always flowing.
That's
you're
right.
always living. You don't be content.
You're always getting better.
Yeah. Don't be content in that relationship. I don't care if it's 50 years down the road. You still should not be content.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that old man can walk out still.
Right.
Or just give up. Or just give up. Like,
or just give
I'm not waking up.
Yeah.
That's her biggest fear.
Yeah. So I hear and I see, and I've been around you guys, but the thing that I noticed as an adult, I know y'all are adults too, but I was one before you, so. And I knew Jasmine when she was a little girl, so. The friendship aspect of it and the fact that you're not only in love, but it's very apparent that y'all like each other. Yeah. How important is that as far as your relationship is concerned?
Extremely important. Yeah. And at the same time though, I don't ever want it to seem like it's like an unrealistic, thing to achieve, because there is times where we're just like, you know what? I just need to go into the other room. I just need to,
right.
I'm gonna kind of do my thing, be over here, I'm gonna be in the office, or she'll,
Yeah, we don't always like each other.
Yeah, but I will say overall though, that's definitely like when people say it's really cliche, but I found like my best friend so it's definitely one of my best friends. I don't have a best friend like Jasmine. She's different. She could be weird. I never know what's coming sometimes, but it's always fun. It's always fun, and yeah, it's definitely a friendship. I like and love her, and am in love with her. So
you said the word fun. Is it always important to keep fun, to stay fun?
It has to be.
Yeah.
It has.
I think that is very important to keep you laughing, keep humor and fun
connected.
Always. That's extremely important to us. She said that was my
your superpower.
My superpower. It sounded so light when you said it, but now that you really think about it.
Oh no, that's huge. That's huge. The ability to be able to do that. I mean, think about a comedian and how they study and their craft and all that kind of stuff. It's not easy. The ability that's a real huge superpower. Some people just ain't funny. Like me, I'm kind of dry humor.
And with that, she pointed out something about Jarrell that makes his superpower even the fact that a comedian has to know his audience and be connected and in tune with his audience. And, in this particular case, she's his audience. Right. So the fact that he's paying attention and that he's reading his audience is huge in any kind of relationship. And we need to, as humans, be able to do that a lot better with the people that are important to us and that are around us. So
that's very true. Yeah. Cute analogy, Kimberly. That was good, girl.
No, that's true.
Thank you.
That's really, really good. That was good. Yeah. That was a great analogy. She's the analogy queen on the show. I'm telling you. She's always got an analogy. And the quote queen.
And so, speaking of quotes, I hate to say this, but we are out of time. I could talk to you guys all night. I'm like, y'all probably all morning and all night. So I know
we're gonna have to have them back
with that.
We have to have them back, Kimberly, for sure.
Part 2.
Yes.
Because I really want to hear about, and I'm hoping this is a comfortable, we'll talk offline about it, but I really want to hear about your relationship with Sophia's mom. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to disclose everything, of course, just like your finances or your intimacy. But I think it's important because I think a lot of people are struggling in that area with baby mama drama and stuff like that. And so you alluded that Sophia, did I say that right? Sophia, that she's a sweet, she made it really easy for you or whatever. Okay, she made it easy. How did mom, So I want a part 2, Kimberly, at some point, because I think, and let me be transparent. I'm dating a guy who has a son who is about to graduate, but there have been some issues with the mother, and things like that. So I think you're young and I'm old, but I think you're going to help me because you have patience.
Look, that's the beauty of this. This was definitely a lesson in us being able to learn something from our other generations. I'll just say
Absolutely.
like that, whether it's seasoned or still, seasoned in the pot, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
But we can all learn from each other, and that's what this show is all about. Yeah. And with it being Black History Month, I just kind of ended y'all conversation, didn't I?
Yeah, because I want to say one other thing, Kimberly, before you say something. But and seriously, a part 2, because I want to hear about that. But then the other thing I want to hear, and I want to put it on record because I'm old and I'm going to forget it. So let me say it now. The time that you spend, do you feel like, think about these questions, Duncans, and we can answer this on part 2, but do you feel like there are times when you need, I know you said you go to your room and you go to your room, but are vacations necessary? Are you, Jarrell, comfortable with her taking girlfriend vacation? And are you comfortable with him taking guy? And do you guys do that very
often for March?
That's
okay.
true.
Do you, and do you feel like it's necessary to do that every now and then? So that'll be part 2. But I know I'm over talking and I'm probably out of time. But I know I'm out of time. But it's just part 2, Duncans. I really want to hear. I want to hear from you because I think y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome couple.
Thank you.
I told you they're our power couple.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So Marion, we're finna wrap the show up.
Yeah, a quote.
So we can talk afterwards, but I'm just gonna do this part, so it'll be on the we want to seriously thank Jasmine and Jarrell for taking the time out today to be on with us to share their story, and a beautiful story it is, and we wish you all nothing but the best each day as you walk in your better. Because I know that we're all on that path. And it is Black History Month. I don't want us to forget about that. We there are those of us, and I think actually in a way every day is Black History as far as I'm concerned. But in the recognition of the month, I'm going to do a quick quote here by Desmond Tutu, and I think it's very pointed for this time. My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together. We're all here, trying to make the best of it, and marriage is one of the benefits of that. So we definitely wanted to tie that to that, and that quote was from Desmond Tutu.
Love it. So thank you.
The Better Show, hosted by Kim and Lisa, broadcast on Wednesdays, 9:30 a.m. CST on KAZI FM 88.7.